49ers against the Giants at home without Saquon, you'd argue W. Cardinals, arguably the worst team, W. So the Niners look like they would be 4-0.
Mm-hmm.
The Cowboys play the Cardinals, win. Then they play the Patriots, who, let's be honest, aren't great. Those two teams, Niners host the Cowboys for Sunday Night Football on October 8th, and that could be by far the best game of this season so far, up into that point. Because they're probably both going to go in 4-0. Cowboys at Niners, October 8th. Write that down. That's going to be the battle.
Nice.
Now, the game next week that I'm already looking forward to, I don't want to jump ahead too much. I know we got 2 games tonight. We'll talk about those in a little bit. But who needs this win more? Because it's one of the sentiments that people are talking about. The 0-2 Chargers or the 0-2 Vikings. Even Vegas has said, we don't know. It's actually even money in Vegas right now. No home field, 3 points for the Vikings. It's dead even money in Vegas. Chargers at Vikings, both 0-2. One of those teams will be 0-3. Which team can't afford that?
I mean, both teams can't afford that.
One team's going to be 0-3.
One team's going to be 0-3. I still love the fantasy of if the Vikings go 0-3, that Cousins could be a Jet.
Yeah.
I do. I love that thought, but he has a no-trade clause or whatever, so it's unlikely. But then it becomes a little more real, like, well, look, this season's over for them. Let this guy go and try and win in New York. But I would have to say the Chargers there. I would say more desperate for the Chargers.
Yeah.
And a young Herbert.
Well, the Chargers, they can't drop to 0-3 in the division with Kansas City. And even, Denver's struggling, but they can't drop to 0-3. Denver plays Miami next week. They could drop to 0-3. I don't know. But then you look at that NFC North. If Chicago's 0-2 and Detroit looks vulnerable and Green Bay doesn't look all that great, they lost yesterday to Atlanta. I think the Vikings could start 0-3 and they wouldn't be necessarily dead. You feel me on that? They could very well be 0-3. And next week, the Saints play the Packers. Packers could be 1-2. They could be the best team in that division could be 1-2 next week, and the Vikings could be 0-3, and they'd only be a game out. I think it's so much more of a must-win for the Chargers because look at that AFC wildcard battle too. You're battling against the Dolphins and the Bills and the Bengals and they'll turn it around. The Ravens, the Steelers and Browns play tonight. There's so many teams fighting that the Chargers can't be 0-3. But if they are, they might get a new coach.
Kirk Cousins, I wonder what he secretly is thinking about his squad because he doesn't have Dalvin Cook anymore. He has a backup running back now. That O-line has started the season shaky. So I wonder if he would waive that no-trade clause.
You like that? I do like that.
And he's no stranger to starting over. He's done it before.
I do like that.
Yeah, a chance to win.
We forget he was a Washington Redskin.
Yeah.
Turn.
You saw Quarterback on Netflix. All he would have to do is tell his wife that that's what the Lord wants.
The Lord wants him to be a Jet,
honey. The Lord, he told me.
Jeez.
He told me.
Something's going to give. Something's going to give. And you're doing the math. You're like, well, Zach Wilson's not adding up.
Well, then answer yourself.
The Vikings aren't adding up for him. Well, something's got to happen.
Are we thinking, not wrong, but let's say Kirk Cousins goes to the Jets as the savior. Then where do you put yourself next year with returning Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins ain't no backup. Either is Aaron Rodgers. So are you thinking
the Lord says you cross that bridge when you get to it.
I had had Jesus on speed dial. So.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, do you try to fix now, or do you just, if you're the Jets, do you say, you can't chalk up lost season after a 1-1 start?
They were poised to go far this season. Exactly. They still are.
They're still
a
squad.
Have such a good defense and so many weapons on offense. You cannot scrap this year.
I don't think you waste this entire season just waiting for Rodgers to come back next year. And you don't know how he's going to come back. I know he spoke very confidently about it.
He will rise from the ashes like a phoenix.
I know.
I believe
and
what
that's
he said.
great to hear. And I love the attitude. And I know he loves the doubters, and that fuels his fire. But you just never know. So we'll see how that all turns out. You know what I thought you were going to talk about too, Rich, before we go to the phone call, before we get into our game?
What, Covino, do you remember, it's happened a few times in recent history. Like, do you remember last year, am I wrong by saying, I don't think I am, did Tom Brady and the Bucs make the playoffs at 8-9? Were they under 500 or were they 9-8?
Man, I don't remember them being under 500 and making the playoffs.
9-8 maybe then?
Yeah.
They did not win 10 games. The 2022 Tampa Bay Bucs were what, Spotty?
That. We'll double check that.
I think
they had to be over 500.
I think they were 8-9, if not 9-8. There's no way.
No, 8-9.
They were.
Boom.
Oh my God.
471 winning percentage.
Everyone in that division was like 6-10 or 5-11. They all stunk. So I'm saying,
looking back, that sounds hard to believe.
So when you say, well, you know what? Last year, that division of the Falcons and Panthers and Bucks, and they were so bad that the Tom Brady just found a way to like be around 500, and they made that. They made it to the playoffs. We're assuming everyone returns to the sentiment of Week 1, like Lions are awesome. If the Lions are a 500 ball club and they're shooting it for 9-8 or 8-9, I think if the Vikings start out 0-3, it's not a dead season because I told you the Packers play the Saints. We'll see the Saints tonight. We'll see what they're made of because we don't know what that team's all about. Yeah, they're 1-0. Maybe they snuck by Tennessee Week 1. For all we know, the Saints beat up on Green Bay. The Bears are 0-2. They'll lose again. So I think Minnesota is in the driver's seat, believe it or not. Even at 0-3, it wouldn't be done.
By the way, that year, every other team was 7-10.
7-10, 7-10, 7-10. Tom Brady with a whopping 8-9 wins the division.
It's over, Johnny.
I want to talk to Hank in a minute. Hank from Virginia wants to talk about Colorado State, I believe. Plus, we're going to play our game, last one standing. But the last thing that made us go, was
Things that make you go.
the field goal to end your 49ers game, Rich. I thought you had some thoughts on that because a lot of the sentiment was that was the biggest call from Vegas that people had ever seen.
Dude.
Was that a necessary field goal, unnecessary field goal? Am I naive to think that just optically, if you're looking at the scores, it was closer than it appeared because it's a 10-point deficit versus a 7-point deficit?
Well, here's
what are your thoughts on that?
My thought is simple. I don't think a nod to Vegas, it can't be that obvious. However, you're down by 10. Just to keep people in the loop, the Niners on most sports books were 7.5-point favorites. Or 7. Because a push in a lot of places loses, or hey, just a push. The 49ers favored by a touchdown or a touchdown and a half. 7.5. They're up by 10. And with 4 seconds left, Sean McVay decides to kick a field goal. Now, this is the right call if there's 10 to 20 seconds left because you can't orchestrate a touchdown, then get the ball back, and find a way to get in field goal position. So strategy will tell you, take the 3 points now, and then if you get the ball back with 5 seconds or so, Hail Mary it up. You can't Hail Mary up a kick.
No, everyone thought, 4 seconds left, game's over.
Kicking the field goal is the strategery if you had a chance to get the ball back. But with 4 seconds, that's the time of a field goal, which means why did Sean McVay kick the field goal?
Which they made very clear, too. The announcers did say, they have just enough time to kick a field goal. That's it. The game's everybody knew that.
If there were 7 or 8 seconds left, Ramos, then all of a sudden the onside kick, maybe a fumble or a long shot of something.
There's some strong buzz that was sort of shady.
Maybe to make it look closer, or maybe to just get
that's my interpretation because a casual fan just looks at the score, 30-23. Yeah, well the Rams were in it.
Or maybe you get your field goal kicker a last end of the game rep. I don't know.
Dan had a good point about what his thought was, and I kind of agree with it because I'm sure a lot of the money from San Francisco fans was like they're just going to blow the Rams out. They're going to win by more than 7.5.
This is not unheard of in college football, and it's usually by the winning team. You have a lot of boosters, supporters of your program that bet on your school to win. College coaches know the lines to their games. They know because that's how you keep your job. It's the people in the stands, those guys that are betting on you. I think Sean McVay knew the line was 7.5 and saw 65,000 49er fans in SoFi Stadium and was like, well.
F you guys?
Yes.
That's
it's
not crazy.
Like, we can't win the game, but You
Dude,
did
I
this to
love
us.
that thought. I
That
love
was
that
my
take.
thinking.
Yeah, I love it because you're so right. We already made the point. Like, there was a lot of 49ers fans
Again,
there.
you agree, Dan, if there were 15, 20 seconds left, the field goal is the right choice because you get the 3 points, then you maybe onside, kick, recover, Hail Mary. You can't.
He knows you're not going to do it all in 4 seconds.
Yeah, you can't manufacture a touchdown and then hope for the miracle field goal. So you take the field goal there, but with 3 to 4 seconds left, it's the last play. So the only reason for them to kick the field goal was to, A, make it look closer, kill the spread, or maybe McVay's like, oh, I wanted to get my kicker a rep.
No. Yeah, I don't think so.
No, what you said makes the most sense.
Realistically, even for health reasons, for safety, take a knee. You can't win the game. There's 3 seconds left. You can't score 10 points in 3 seconds.
Pointless 3 points ever.
It was.
It really was. Like, I sat there like, really? That was weird. Okay.
If you're a Rams bettor as well, you just saw your head coach cover your number for you.
Yeah, now you like him.
Yeah. All right, I know that we lost to our rival again, but hey, he covered the number.
But definitely made a lot of people say, and the internet, social media is still buzzing about, well, what was the deal with that?
So many observations, so much fun. Week 2 of the NFL. And Saturday, we'll take a call from Hank in Virginia who wanted to talk some Colorado State. I'm a Covino. It was super exciting. But the whole time, though, what I was thinking, I was like, yo, if Coach Prime loses to the Norval Redenbacher nerd coach that called him out. Like, Coach Prime would probably have been embarrassed. Like, yo, he could, it's a growing program, and
it was a star-studded event, and his mom was there and everything. His mom made a pregame speech. There was a lot of build-up, like almost so much build-up that they couldn't lose that game.
Was Lil Wayne there?
Lil Wayne was there.
Like,
The Rock was there.
They had celebrities bringing out a team that was 1-11 last year. Coach Prime takes over. Everyone's got their sunglasses on. My whole sentiment was they eked out a win. I lost like other people. I bet the minus 23 like a bozo, so I lost $100 on it. But I was still rooting for Coach Prime because if they lost, the Oregon game this coming weekend means less. It's like, well, they already lost. You wanted to see, and we said that from the beginning, Ramos. We said if they could go into that Oregon and USC back-to-back games, they'll get their ass whooped probably by those better teams.
Yes.
But isn't it nice that
and they got their key player out, so it's more likely.
There was so much buzz on Saturday on Twitter, on X or whatever. Everybody was watching that game. If you were just a random fan of just sports, you're like, I got to watch this game.
Dude,
they
that
had
game was
everybody watching that thing.
Dude, I felt like it was late here on the West Coast. Covino was in Detroit. You were saying it was like 2 in the morning, and you're like, when is this game over?
And I was so excited from watching that game. By the time I fell asleep, it's 3 in the morning. It went so late. It was the 10 p.m. game. It was the late game. And, if they do lose this coming week again, they have the excuse that their best player, two-way star Travis Hunter's out for 3 or 4 weeks or whatever. So they at least got that story to keep the hype going while they're minus their best guy.
Wasn't it exhausting in a good way?
It was.
Like at the end of the first quarter, my wifey said, it's only been 1 quarter. Like every single quarter felt like a new game. It was crazy.
I just felt like, is anybody playing defense? They were just moving the ball so much.
That's
And by the way,
man.
Hank in Virginia wants to argue that late hit.
Let's hear it.
Yeah.
Things that made you go,
Hey, Hank.
Yeah, oh my gosh, man. You guys sound like such fanboys. Let me explain it. What was the kid's name?
Wait, a fanboy of who?
Deion
of
Sanders.
just Dion and it's a bad
Let me
hit
make this
and-
clear, Hank. I am.
Yeah,
There's no denying
You call me a
it.
fanboy of Dion as if I'm. Yeah, yes, true.
He just got me
true.
excited about
Yeah,
it.
Look.
he gave a little life to a program that I really didn't care about. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And that's fine that you have that. But listen, what's the other kid's name, the one that made the hit? Henry Blackman? Is that his name?
Blackman made the hit.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter. Because quite honestly, wasn't Travis Hunter kind of running his face pregame? Wasn't he kind of like calling the other guys small?
So a dirty hit. So a dirty hit's the way. The dirty hit's the way to make it.
It's not dirty, man. Hold on. Here's why it's not dirty. Okay. Here's why it's not dirty. The ball was in the air, right? As a defensive back, what I'm doing is making sure I don't hit him too early before he gets to touch the ball. Secondly, I'm not really. Once that contact and the ball does whatever it does with the wide receiver, it's my job just to blast him. He took one kind of step, maybe a half one, and hit the dude. That's not a dirty play. That's part of football.
Even LeBron James decided to comment on it. Like, I mean, so no, listen.
Hey, whatever put Shador in Brady mode, whatever got him fired up, it worked.
So hey, it was a fun game to watch.
Brady mode? Do you mean Tom Brady mode?
So let me pose one question, then we'll break and we'll come back and play America's favorite game, Last Man Standing. Is there an NFL team, think about this, based on the college overtime rules, is there an NFL team that you think would flourish under these rules? Like, is there a team where you're like, oh, in the red zone, they're lights out? Like, would it be a Niners with like a McCaffrey and all those weapons? Is it a Miami with Tua with all the speed and the weapons he has? Like, what team? I guess you would really just have to look at who dominates in the red zone, but watching the overtime rules in college makes you realize there's something exciting there. I don't know if the NFL will ever adopt that, but there is something next level tense and exciting about every snap in overtime.
Danny G's absolutely right, man. That was an exhausting and exciting game this weekend.
And really quick, you guys, just two corrections. Henry Blackburn delivered that late hit. And then he can't talk on the air because he's at work, but Brad in Cincy wanted to give you a note, Rich. He said the reason why it could work with the Jets is because Kirk Cousins is not under contract next year. He's a free agent.
Oh, so it could be a rental. It could be a rental and then have a free agent deal next year. So he could essentially take the Jets to the divisional round
and try to win. Yes. Why wouldn't he want to
make $35 million from another team?
That's insanely dope.
Which he's done his entire career.
Oh, now you're talking. All right.